making headlines this hour. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu returns to the Maldives after an official visit to Qatar, where he offered condolences following the death of the country's former Emir Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs says Qatar is a key partner in the Maldives' tourism and economic development. The government seeks a permanent solution to ease congestion at the Male commercial harbour while relocating some port operations to Tilafushi as a temporary measure.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Mariam Shaushat. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu returns to the Maldives after an official visit to Qatar, where he offered condolences following the death of the country's former Emir, Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani. President Muizzu travelled to Doha to pay his respects to Qatar's Emir, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, and the royal family after the death of the former Emir last Sunday. During the visit, Sheikh Tamim received the Maldivian president in an official audience. President Muizzu conveyed condolences on behalf of the Maldivian government and the people. The two leaders also reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening bilateral relations between the Maldives and Qatar. The Maldivian government said the visit reflected the importance it places on its long-standing partnership with Qatar. Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, who served as Emir of Qatar from 1995 to 2013, was credited with supporting several key initiatives in the Maldives. These included facilitating the launch of Qatar Airways services to the country, supporting the establishment of Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani School in Lamu Atoll, and contributing to the construction of the Sheikh Qasim bin Al Thani Mosque in Hurumale. During his reign, Sheikh Hamad paid an official visit to the Maldives in 2005, further strengthening ties between the two nations. The Maldives and Qatar established diplomatic relations on 26 May 1984. Over the past 4 decades, Qatar has been a significant partner in supporting the Maldives' development through investments, infrastructure, projects and educational initiatives. Ministry of Foreign Affairs says Qatar is a key partner in the Maldives' tourism and economic development. Speaking during a special PSM News' coverage on the passing of former Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, the State Minister of Foreign Affairs Abdullah Hamid noted the long-standing close ties between the two countries and said Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani played a major role in strengthening relations with the Maldives and supporting its development. Highlighting assistance by Qatar over the years, the State Minister said Qatar Airways began flying to the Maldives at the instruction of Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani after then Maldivian President Maumoon Abdul Qayyum made a request to the Emir on a visit to Qatar. At the time, Qatar Airways was a relatively small airline and did not operate wide-body aircraft. However, he said the Emir wanted the service to begin regardless of the profitability, stating that he did not want to disappoint a fellow Muslim nation. The State Minister described the launch of Qatar Airways Maldives route as a symbol of the strong relationship between the two countries. During COVID-19 pandemic, Qatar Airways continued operating flights to the Maldives when many other airlines suspended services. The Foreign Ministry noted that this helped transport essential medicines and supplies during the pandemic. Qatar Airways is now a major aviation partner for the Maldives, currently operating flights 6 days a week and connecting the country to destinations worldwide. Qatar has supported the Maldives in education and business during Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani's reign. Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani also visited the Maldives during his reign, a reflection of the close ties between the two countries. Minister of Economic Development, Transport and Trade Mohammad Saeed says that recent discussions with India have laid a strong foundation for further strengthening economic relations between the two countries.
The minister made the remarks in an interview with India's WION news agency during his official visit to India. Speaking about the visit, which was made at the invitation of India's Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal, Saeed described the trip as a success. He said the current momentum in bilateral relations stem from President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu's visit to India and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's subsequent visit to the Maldives. Saeed noted that the visit advanced discussions on supporting the president's digital economy agenda, enhancing tourism and air connectivity, and expanding trade links between the two countries. He also discussed the proposed Free Trade Agreement (FTA) and the bilateral investment treaty currently under negotiation. According to the minister, business forums held in New Delhi, Mumbai and Bengaluru during President Muizzu's visit have significantly strengthened ties between businesses and industries in both countries. The minister said an FTA would provide Maldivian businesses with preferential access to one of the world's largest and fastest growing markets. He added that new opportunities would arise in fisheries, marine industries, digital services, and other emerging sectors. Small and medium-sized enterprises would also gain access to new markets and regional value chains. Saeed stated that the agreement would streamline customs procedures, strengthen regulatory cooperation, and remove barriers to trade, thereby lowering business costs, improving supply chains, and benefiting both businesses and consumers. He further noted that the bilateral investment treaty would create a clearer and more predictable framework for investors, boosting confidence and encouraging Indian investment in sectors such as tourism, logistics, healthcare, education, renewable energy, and the digital economy. According to the minister, such investments would create jobs, facilitate technology transfers, enhance skills and support innovation, contributing to the government's broader goal of building a resilient and future-ready economy. Saeed emphasized that the agreements would benefit India as well, supporting the development of a more competitive global economic partnership and further strengthening the close ties between the Maldives and India.
The government seeks a permanent solution to ease congestion at the Malé commercial harbour while relocating some port operations to Tilafushi as a temporary measure. The announcement was made in a social media post by the Minister of Economic Development, Transport and Trade, Mohammad Saeed, regarding 4 successful trial operations conducted in Tilafushi to load empty containers to vessels. Maldives Ports Limited (MPL) has been undertaking significant efforts to ease port congestion and operational challenges at Malé. In his post, Minister Saeed said the long-standing congestion problem at the commercial port has affected the unloading of goods and remained unresolved under previous governments. He said the government of President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu is seeking a permanent solution for the issue. According to the minister, the government is working hard to fully relocate commercial harbour operations to Tilafushi by November 2027, as pledged by President Muizzu in his presidential address for the year. He said several temporary measures have already been introduced to reduce congestion, including using Tilafushi for empty container operations, while a permanent solution is being developed. MPL conducted its first trial operation to load empty containers to vessels berthed at the quay wall developed in Tilafushi on 3rd May. The latest operation saw 372 TEU containers loaded onto MV Celestia in less than 24 hours. MV Celestia is the 4th vessel to successfully berth at Tilafushi. Tilafushi has become a dedicated depot for storing, cleaning and repairing empty containers with a capacity of 3,000 TEUs. MPL said the arrangement will provide temporary relief for traders and shipping companies until the new commercial port is completed. Commissioner of Police Ahmad Muhammad and Saudi Arabia's ambassador to the Maldives, Yahya Hassan Al-Qahtani, discusses expanding security cooperation between the Maldives and Saudi Arabia. During a meeting held at the police headquarters at Shahid Hussein Adam building, the two sides focused on strengthening relations and cooperation between the Maldives Police Service and Saudi Arabia. Discussions covered improving the technical capacity of police officers and exploring new training opportunities, including a potential cooperation with King Fahd Security College. Joint efforts against serious crimes and drug-related offences, enhancing investigation capabilities and providing specialized training on road safety and security were also discussed. Both sides also discussed future areas of cooperation to further strengthen bilateral relations. According to statistics from the Ministry of Finance and Public Enterprises, so far this year, $81.06 million has been disbursed to local councils in block grants,
marking a 16.8% increase from the $69.39 million allocated during the corresponding time frame last year. Details were published in the latest weekly fiscal development report. The current fiscal year features the largest budgeted block grant for local council in national history, with allocation set at $160.18 million. By comparison, $136.19 million was initially budgeted in 2023, though final expenditures exceeded that figure by $518,806.74 and $142.67 million was disbursed to councils the year prior. City councils secure the most substantial share of this institutional funding, with the Malé City Council receiving the largest individual budget allocation of any local government body. Funding has been distributed as block grants under a structured fiscal formula based on state revenue since 2020. Major revisions to the financial assistance system are forthcoming, the administration recently announced. The proportional share of grants provided to island and city councils will increase following the abolition of atoll councils. Future funding will be distributed based on the physical land area of an island, shifting away from a policy that relied solely on population size. These adjustments are intended to expand overall financial capacity and reinforce local development projects the administration maintains.
Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development Dr. Abdullah Muttalib says the road on the Hitadu Causeway in Lamu Atoll is expected to be completed and open for public use by the middle of 2028.
Speaking in Parliament, Marwar parliamentarian Ahmad Shakir asked when physical construction on the Hitadu Causeway project had begun and when it was expected to be completed. In response, the minister outlined the project's timeline in detail. The minister explained that although the project contract was signed and awarded on the 22nd January 2023, the actual construction work only commenced under the current administration. While reports indicated that mobilization took place on 2nd September 2023, he said that the survey, borehole investigations, and other related works initiated at the time had not progressed satisfactorily. He added that the geotechnical investigations and the design revisions required for the project were completed under the current government. Physical construction began on the 20th October 2025, and the project was launched with a completion period of 500 days. The $5.24 million project includes a 390-meter revetment, two bridges each measuring 557.5 meters in length, and a 714-meter roadway. The minister also noted that casting of the L blocks required for the bridge construction is currently underway. The minister acknowledged that the project had encountered several challenges during implementation. He said that towards the end of the previous administration's term, contracts of numerous projects had been signed in a short period, creating financial constraints. As a result, the government has had to establish a realistic implementation schedule to ensure all projects can be completed. He added that priority is being given to completing projects in the most effective manner possible within the state's available financial resources.
President of the Elections Commission of the Maldives, Mohammad Shakil, says holding elections within a short period of one another remains an issue that requires a long-term solution. In an interview with PSM News, Shakil said that considering both the financial cost and the amount of work involved, conducting elections close together places a significant administrative burden on the electoral system. He added that it is important for lawmakers to give careful consideration to the matter. Shakil explained that the Elections Commission, as an executive institution, is obliged to fully comply with the laws enacted by Parliament when conducting elections. He also noted that finding a solution to the issue of holding elections close together would reduce election-related expenditure, allowing those funds to be redirected towards other areas that would benefit the public. He further stated that if Parliament amends the Constitution and the relevant laws, elections could be held together. However, he noted that the public has previously decided against combining the presidential and parliamentary elections. In a public vote on the proposal, 148,859 people voted against holding the two elections together. According to the financial statistics from Maldives Inland Revenue Authority (MIRA), the government collected $77.8 million in green tax revenue during the first half of this year.
According to MIRA's June revenue report, the government received $77.8 million in green tax revenue during the first 6 months of the year. During the corresponding period last year, green tax collections amounted to $71.3 million, representing an 8.2% increase. Revenue collected in US dollars also rose during the first 6 months of the year. Green tax receipts total $79 million during the period, compared with $73 million during the same period last year. The Maldives introduced the green tax in October 2016 to raise funds for environmental protection initiatives across the country. The tax is levied on tourists staying at resorts, hotels and guest houses, as well as those arriving on tourist vessels. The green tax is charged at $12 per person per night for guests staying at resorts, tourist vessels and hotels, and $6 per person per night for guests staying at guest houses. Children under the age of 2 are exempt from the tax. Revenue generated through the green tax is used by the government to fund environmental projects across the Maldives. These include water and sewage systems, coastal protection works, clean environmental projects, and the development of water supply infrastructure.
Oil prices jumps as Iran expanded strikes on Gulf states following attacks by the US, threatening energy shipments via the Strait of Hormuz.
Brent crude futures climbed $2.34 or 3.08% to $78, while US West Texas Intermediate crude rose $2.21 or 3.09% to $73.62 a barrel. Over the weekend, Tehran extended strikes on Qatar and the United Arab Emirates, while the US launched further strikes on Iran, the latest in a cycle of attacks and counterattacks over shipping through the strait.
The gas will go down. As soon as the war's over, it'll drop like a rock. There's so much of it. It's all over the place, sitting all over the oceans of the world. And it'll go down. But what won't happen is if Iran had a nuclear weapon and used it, then the whole world is a different place.
What about
You're
the
not going to have to
pictures?
pay a little bit more for gasoline. The gasoline, the oil will go down rapidly as soon as the war is over.
US President Donald Trump said the Strait of Hormuz is open to commercial traffic, although Iran declared earlier that it closed the strait after a vessel traveled on an unapproved route and was struck.
US President Donald Trump says that the United States was attacking Iranian capabilities related to the Strait of Hormuz and would continue military operations while maintaining that a negotiated settlement with Tehran remained possible.
Speaking to reporters in the Oval Office, Trump said US forces were targeting assets linked to the strategic waterway. He also said the United States was restoring a blockade aimed at Iran. Despite the escalation, Trump said he had not ruled out a deal. Trump also said he wanted Gulf nations to reimburse the United States for helping protect the Strait of Hormuz and regional security.
Jannik Sinner retains his Wimbledon title by beating Alexander Zverev 6-7, 7-6, 6-3, 6-4 in the final to claim his 5th Grand Slam crown and extended his dominance over the German to 10 straight victories.
The win placed Sinner in rare company as the 10th man in the professional era to successfully defend the title, strengthening his credentials as one of the dominant players of his generation while he chases down big rival Carlos Alcaraz 7 majors. Both finalists slugged it out for 12 games in a high-octane first set on a warm and windy afternoon before Zverev moved up a gear and hit a powerful forehand winner to clinch a crippling tiebreak, yelling and crouching down in celebration. The clean ball striking continued, but Zverev began to show signs of frustration late in the second set, where a much more animated Sinner gained the upper hand in the tie-break and went on to level the contest at 1 set apiece. Zverev brought up his first break point midway through the third set after more than 2.5 hours, but slipped and fell to the ground after being wrong-footed by the Sinner drop shot. With Zverev screaming out in agony, the center court crowd gasped when he rolled out his back, clutching his right knee. The second seed dusted himself off and carried on, but was left seething when Sinner pounced in the next game to break for a 5-3 lead, slamming his racket to the floor, and soon found himself trailing the Italian 2-1 after nearly 3 hours of battle.
There's no better place, honestly, to play tennis. Standing here, you can feel the nerves in the Sunday morning when you wake up. You know that this is, a very, very special day, and you never know how many times you can come back on Sunday. So I never take things for granted. Playing in front of very, very special people throughout the whole couple of weeks, it has been amazing, and and thanks for the support. You are always amazing to me, and you gave me the most special feeling a tennis player can ever feel like, so thank you so much.
Sinner broke again for a 4-3 advantage in the fourth set as Zverev's level briefly dipped, and the 24-year-old held firm in the entertaining spell to complete the victory and then collapsed to the threadbare turf in celebration.
"50 years ago, farmers in Italy's Emilia-Romagna region used to open the windows in their barns at night during the summer to keep their cattle cool. Today, as heat waves send temperatures soaring to record highs, those windows stay open round the clock to protect the cows and ultimately their milk, the foundation of the area's centuries-old Parmigiano-Reggiano cheese industry."
Nicola Bertinelli, president of the Parmigiano-Reggiano Consortium, who also runs the dairy farm that his family founded in 1895 on the outskirts of Parma, said extreme heat impacts milk's quality and quantity. With temperatures topping 40 degrees Celsius, cows spend more time lying down, eat less and produce up to 10% less milk, one of Parmigiano's only 3 ingredients alongside salt and rennet. Production of authentic Parmigiano-Reggiano is only allowed in 5 provinces, mostly in the Emilia-Romagna region, and cows must be fed exclusively with grass and hay grown there. He and others have also installed fans and water mist systems, but most extra cooling measures have sent their energy cost soaring. Those raising bills are also hitting managers of the warehouses where cheese wheels are stored during the aging process for at least 12 months, sometimes 3 years or even longer. More than 500,000 wheels of Parmigiano-Reggiano, together worth more than 300 million euros, are stored in the 2 warehouses operated by MGT in the provinces of Reggio Emilia and Modena. The region's climate-controlled warehouses have become institutions, collectively known as the Bank of Parmigiano. Behind their walls, technology and tradition go hand in hand. Each wheel of Parmigiano-Reggiano undergoes strict quality inspections, including X-ray scans to rule out defects. The cheese is checked weekly by experts who tap each wheel with small hammers, listen for signs of flaws that may have developed during the aging process. Paolo Ganzoli, International Sales Director at Food Group Granterre, which posted consolidated revenue of 1.87 billion euros in 2025, echoed Raveniti's concerns about raising bills. There is a lot at stake. The Parmigiano-Reggiano industry generates an estimate of 4.5 billion euros in revenue a year, employing thousands and powering the local economy. In 2025, exports of the cheese accounted for more than 50% of Parmigiano-Reggiano's global sales, with the United States as its latest foreign market.
And that's all we have for you right now. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more news updates on PSM News. Have a good day. Goodbye.